Something Core Sales is very good at is enabling forms to be quite intuitive. I'm going to show you today how we can create some forms that allow you to hide information. So here's an example of a form. It's an inquiry form, and there's quite a bit of information in there to gather. But what if somebody isn't working for a company and therefore doesn't have a position or an organization to include? It'd be nice to have a checkbox which got rid of some of those fields, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So first of all, we're going to create some of the checkboxes that will be used to remove the fields that are not appropriate for a particular individual when they're filling out the registration form. So here you've got an example. I'm not from an organization. If I'm not from an organization, then my position and my organization itself is irrelevant, so therefore doesn't need to be gathered. You can do quite clever things with hiding and removing multiple fields within a form. And we're just providing some more information there to the person doing the registering so they understand what we're asking them. It's a tooltip that pops up. I'm going to use a checkbox because a checkbox allows us to trigger the on or off of the field, or display or not display. 600 width and public and internal fields, we're calling them. So we're going to create a couple of extra fields as well, and we're going to do that by first of all just searching for that field we've just created, and then duplicating it. So using that duplication feature that you can see on the right hand side of any list, which is quite useful for being able to create new things like course masters or fields, etc., quickly and efficiently. So I'm going to show you again, I don't have a student ID number, therefore if I don't have a student ID number, there's no point in showing me an option to fill in the student ID number. This can also help by decreasing confusion that some people have about fields that seem to need to be filled in but maybe aren't appropriate with a particular question that's been previously asked. And we're going to also provide more information there in the tooltip. Like I said, those tooltips pop up as you put the mouse over the field, over the checkbox or the text around the checkbox, which can be quite useful to help people basically to make registration forms easy and intuitive. That's the name of the game here, so people don't have any problems with filling in as much information as possible so you can get a firm booking. You can do the final field now set up, again using that duplication feature within Core Sales. And these are fields, so make sure you've got the right permissions. Remember, go into permissions if you need to. Check to see you've got the right to add fields and to edit fields. And then if you haven't, you may need to ask someone to add those permissions, but remember to log out and log back in again to have those permissions applied. Again, quite helpful and useful to use that duplication feature to get things done really quickly. So the fields are already in place on our form, so this set of 3 checkboxes will be used to control the fields that are already on the inquiry form, and we'll be going in to edit the form in a moment. Okay, so having a look at the forms now, editing the inquiry form, we've got to add those new checkboxes in there somewhere. And we're going to add it just below the name of the individual. If you type in the first 3 characters of your field name, it comes up in the drop down, which is handy. And we're going to make this a new box with a heading. I'm going to add the remaining 2 checkboxes in there, just to give you a demonstration on how these checkboxes can be used to hide or display information. It's very important that you think about the wording that you put onto these checkboxes, and that the resulting hiding of any particular fields is appropriate. Now the toggle is to turn something on or off or hide a particular field. So I'm actually describing here what I want to hide. And so when that checkbox is ticked on the form, it's going to hide those particular fields that have that ID. So now this is the section IDs that we're adjusting, and so the section IDs tell us what the checkbox will hide. So there's a matching between the section ID and the trigger. In this case, we're adding an extra field in just by clicking on the plus, a student ID, we set up with a width of 600, which is the standard size, and make the visibility public and internal. Of course, got to make it active, so we're going to add that, and then use the drop down, type in a few letters, student, and then there's student ID. So there we go, added that field on there as well. So a quick way to add fields on, and then we're going to add the include the ID. Now you see I'm adding a toggle there. That's not quite right. We've got to go on and make it an invisible section. So that means that others won't know that it's a section. So the toggle was incorrect. So toggle is used for the checkboxes, but the section ID is used to identify those sections to hide. So we want to hide the student ID. It's not going to be used to toggle anything. So we need to make sure we've got the naming correct. If the naming is not correct, then it's not going to work. So you can actually have the same section ID to multiple fields, and those fields will hide as the appropriate checkbox is ticked. So we're going to save and preview. So we're going to see how it looks. Yeah, there are 3 checkboxes. So if we try it out, turning one off, you can see there when we tick that, both the position and the organization hide. And if we tick the student ID, it just hides, and then the phone number just disappears there. We only have a mobile phone number in this case, so the phone number disappears. We can tick all of them, which reduces the form down to the bare minimal number of fields. So you've got to make sure you publish these forms, and once they're published, you can go and give you a demonstration of an inquiry. Someone enters their details in here, and then chooses the appropriate checkboxes, and hides the relevant information. So you can see there the form is fairly minimal now. We've got the name, the phone number, email address, bit of a comments box, and that's about it. And of course people love this, the idea of reducing the amount of effort required by the participant to gather information is very useful. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck with making forms easy and intuitive.